Hi, welcome to the GifterX Talks. My name is Christopher Kai, the founder of GifterX Talks, which has been called the TED Talks for Entrepreneurs. We're the world's leading speaker community for entrepreneurs. I've been speaking for over 20 years. I've given over 1,000 presentations globally, whether for high schools, colleges, for the State Department, for billionaires, for Fortune 500 companies like Amazon, Google, eBay. And I've been blessed to command the stage with people like Elon Musk, Richard Branson, Sarah Blakely, Bill Gates, and the list goes on. We have this GifterX Talks for people like you who have a story because they truly believe your story is gift to the world. Now, why is it important to be a speaker? If you're a coach, if you're a podcast host, if you have a business, every single business owner needs to be a speaker. Why? Because if you don't, you will be what I call Google invisible. What do you do when you meet someone for the first time? No matter what they say, you're going to go home, you're going to do a little stalking, right? You're going to literally put their name into Google and it's going to either be invisible, visible, or an expert. When you're a speaker, you will be what I call a global expert. And we created this GifterX Talks platform to help people like yourself get on that stage, learn how to speak so you can finally share the stories you want to impact the world you want and to get what I call an ATM of income. The GifterX Talk stage is a premier stage in the world. When you really think about it, the top event in the world for athletes are the Olympics. The top event for musicians, singers, songwriters are the Grammys, and the top event for actors and actresses are the Oscars. But there's no higher event than the TED conference. And when you talk on the GifterX Talk stage, we've had the TED founder come to our stage, Richard Solomon. We've had Queen Diambe. We've had the 5-time record-holding Merle the Mermaid. We've had so many various athletes, including the world's strongest woman, Brooke Souza, and myself, which Inc. magazine is called the Billionaire Networker. So if you are chosen to speak on our GifterX Talk stage, you could literally say you shared the stage with the TED founder. You shared the stage with the world's strongest woman. Like I said, it's like if you were an actor, you can say you co-star with Leonardo DiCaprio. If you're a singer, you can say you co-wrote with the world famous Alicia Keys. It's so important that your story is shared, is heard around the world. But unfortunately, to be very blunt, no one will care if they don't know you. No one will care if you can't hook them in with a story. No one will care if you don't have a brand. And when you're a speaker, it's what I call first-class credibility. You may not know me, but if you Google me, I pop up. If you Google me, you'll see on one speaking bureau, I'm charged at $30,000 to $50,000. If you Google me, you may see this picture where there were 12,000 people across 4 days in Las Vegas, where Richard Branson spoke there and Steve Wozniak spoke there from Apple. The point is, if you do not become a speaker, if you do not go on stages like the GifterX Talks on global stages, you will be forgettable. It sounds harsh, but when you look at Apple, there's Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, but guess what? There's a guy named Ronald Wayne. If you Google Apple computers, you will see a third co-founder, Ronald Wayne. He literally wrote the actual operating manual. He wrote the contract. He actually sketched the logo. But a few weeks into co-founding Apple, we had 10% shares. He literally got scared. He got scared. And Steve Jobs asked him a few times, but he was afraid. He was scared. He had 10% of Apple, but he sold it back. He could have been worth over $100 billion. He could have inspired the world with his stories, but instead, he unfortunately would be forgotten. You have the chance to be memorable. You have the chance to be inspiring. You have the chance to impact people all around the world, not because of your story, but because you have to have your brand first. And here's an opportunity for you to be part of the premier brand for speaking. It's called GifterX Talks. It's been called the TED Talks for Entrepreneurs. We are the world's leading speaker community for entrepreneurs. So here's how the process works. You've already been reached out from an email I sent to you. Our team's going to be reaching out to you. And what I want you to remember one thing. His name is not Ted. His name is Sam. And Sam is going to teach you how to be a great speaker. SAM's an acronym. S stands for stories. If you want to impact people, if you want to inspire people, if you want to get the clients that you want, you have to remember these three, what I call credibility stories. The first one is your personal story. People need your personal story so they can relate to you. When you think about Oprah Winfrey, Leonardo DiCaprio, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos used to work at a freaking McDonald's in high school. Leonardo DiCaprio used to live in one of the poorest areas in LA where he had pimps and prostitutes as his actual neighbors, and he was struggling. But now it's Leonardo DiCaprio. Oprah was so poor in the South as a Black woman at the time, where she literally had her grandmother named Hattie make a dress out of a potato sack. She's also sexually abused. She had various promiscuity challenges as a young woman, but now she's Oprah. In my case, I was the shortest kid in class for 8 years. I was teased and bullied and punished. That's my personal story. So make sure you're vulnerable so that if you have a personal story, they can relate to you. The next story, second story, is your professional story. If you cannot have an aspirational story, if your clients don't aspire to be you, why should they hire you? Do you want to be on big stages? Do you want to share the stage with Elon Musk? Do you want to make $30,000 for speech? I've made over $200,000 for what they call a speak to sell speech. So again, you have that aspirational brand. And lastly, client story. According to McKinsey, consumer-driven marketing are 31% more effective in sales. All that means is consumer-driven marketing is testimonials. When I speak on stages, I'll have Les Brown saying, wow, Christopher Kai is a powerful speaker. When I speak on stages, you have a McKinsey partner saying, when you spoke on a stage in Zurich, Switzerland, where the president was there, you elevated our speech to a TED Talk level conference. When I speak on stages, Oprah Winfrey's life coach, Tim Storey, said that I was one of the most powerful speakers in the world. Client stories, share with your clients how powerful you are by just kind of humble brag, right? So S from Sam stands for stories, where you have to share your personal story, your professional story, and your client stories. Personal stories so they can relate to you, professional stories so they can aspire to be you, and lastly, client stories so they have a reason to pay you. A stands for aspects of delivery. Make sure your words, your tonality, and your body language conveys your confidence. Your words, are they strong words? Are they powerful words? Tonality, are you stressing certain words like you are a powerful speaker? And lastly, body language. Notice my body language. I'm using my hands. I'm looking at you. There's a sense of confidence, clarity, and commitment in sharing my message to you. So again, tonality, words, and body language. That's for the aspects of delivery. The last part of SAM is M. We live in a world where you have free advertising, you have free marketing. No time in the human history have we had things like Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat. It doesn't matter what social media panel you use or platform you use these media platforms because you need media training. The most basic thing is your background. Notice this background. I have a green screen. You have to focus on lighting, camera. I can't tell you how many people are horrible at this media training. They sit too back. They sit to the side. They don't have good lighting. Guess what? Make it an investment. If you don't look professional, you won't be seen as professional. And why should they pay you? Okay. So make sure you have the lights, the camera, and then lastly, it's about your actual positioning. Like I said, when you watch news on Fox or NBC, MSNBC or CNN, I don't really care what you watch news on. When you watch the camera person, they're always centered. Their head is just right below the top. There's great lighting, they have great posture. So make sure that the media training that you have, which will teach you, you have the great positioning. All that matters because ultimately the camera does amplify everything. So when you are in the GifterX Talks platform, if you have the opportunity to speak both either virtually in person, you will have the ability to, again, share the stage with people like Richard Saul Warman. He might not be there, but it doesn't matter. When you have spoken on the GifterX Talks platform, whether they're there or not, they've spoken in the past, whether they spoke 1 month ago, 1 week ago, 1 year ago, it doesn't matter. Once you share the stage, on this stage, whether in person or virtual, you can say these branded, credible comments because that's all marketing. So I hope you have fun in this process. I hope you look forward to meeting my team members because we're excited to hear your story because we really believe your story is a gift to the world. Have a great time. Just know, make sure you apply quickly. Make sure you process your application quickly. In the first one, we sent out over 16,000 emails. We're inundated by requests. So if you're chosen, we'll reach out to you. Please don't reach out to us. We are bombarded by people all the time. Sometimes we get people on Instagram saying, is this you? I'm like, yeah, it's me. Okay. It's this smile. It's this hair. You can Google me. You know that I'm real because I'm a New Yorker. My mom raised me right. So we're here to help you, serve you, and inspire you by having you have the courage to share your story. Remember, Apple is one of the most inspiring stories in the world. There were 3 co-owners. There was Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne. Don't wait. Don't be Ronald Wayne. He will unfortunately be forgotten. You'll be rememberable if you have the courage to apply now. Stop waiting. Stop wasting your time. Do this for yourself. Do this for your family. Do this for your community because the world is starving to hear and feel your story. Have a great day.